Breaking. Lee Min-ho and Kim Go-eun's secret wedding rumor shakes all of K-drama land. Could it be true? Did K-drama's golden couple secretly tie the knot while the world was watching elsewhere? Whispers are spreading like wildfire, fans are in chaos, and the industry can't stop buzzing. Stay tuned with the red carpet revealed as we dive deep into the shocking rumor and uncover what really happened. Right now, the world of K-drama thrives on fantasy, romance, and those unforgettable moments that blur the line between fiction and reality. But nothing could have prepared fans for the wildfire that erupted when whispers began to circulate that Lee Min-ho and Kim Go-eun, two of Korea's most beloved stars, had secretly tied the knot. It started as nothing more than a spark, a rumor whispered in the corners of online forums and fan communities. Yet within hours, that spark had become a roaring blaze that spread across borders, crashing servers, trending worldwide, igniting debates that showed no sign of cooling. The question on everyone's lips was simple, but the weight it carried was enormous. Did the reigning king of Hallyu and the chameleon queen of Korean drama secretly become husband and wife? The first tremors began late at night in Seoul. A blurry photo surfaced on a niche fan site. It appeared to show two figures, one tall and broad-shouldered, the other slender and poised, entering what looked like a luxury villa tucked away on Jeju Island. The post, accompanied by the caption "Secret Ceremony Tonight," was vague enough to be dismissed yet tantalizing enough to ignite speculation. The internet, as it always does, did the rest. Within minutes, the image was ripped from its original context and reposted across platforms. By sunrise, hashtags like Lee Min-ho and Kim Go-eun bride were dominating Twitter trends in Korea, Japan, the Philippines, and beyond. Fans responded with a blend of disbelief and exhilaration. Some shouted in caps lock, declaring that their years of shipping the two since their appearance in The King, Eternal Monarch had finally been rewarded. Others cautioned against hysteria, pointing out the photo's graininess and lack of verifiable context. Yet, the ambiguity only fueled the obsession. Every retweet, every meme, every hastily edited fan video imagining Min-ho in a tuxedo and Go-eun in a flowing white gown added momentum to the fire. Theories spread like branches of a tree, each more detailed and dramatic than the last. Perhaps, some argued, the two stars had grown close after their drama wrapped and nurtured a quiet romance away from the spotlight. Others suggested that the wedding had been timed strategically, designed to occur in secret so as to avoid the endless scrutiny of fans and tabloids. What made the rumor particularly combustible was the shared history of the two actors. Lee Min-ho has long been considered the crown jewel of Hallyu, his name synonymous with international success ever since Boys Over Flowers turned him into a global icon. His charm, his charisma, his ability to anchor romantic fantasies on screen made him the ultimate leading man. Yet, his personal life had always attracted as much attention as his roles. His past high-profile relationship with Suzy remains etched in the memory of fans. And ever since their breakup, every interaction, female co-star, every Instagram post has been scrutinized for hidden meanings. Kim Go-eun, by contrast, carries a different aura. She burst onto the scene with her raw and natural performance in Amuse, then captured hearts worldwide as Ji-eun-tak in Goblin. Known for her versatility, she is one of the few actresses equally celebrated for art house cinema and mainstream television hits. Unlike Min-ho, she has kept her personal life closely guarded, rarely feeding tabloids with dating scandals. That very privacy only magnified the shock when her name appeared alongside Lee Min-ho's in the context of a wedding rumor. Together, they represented the convergence of two narratives, the king of global K-drama and the enigmatic queen of nuanced storytelling. It was the perfect fantasy, yet dangerously believable. By mid-morning, traditional media had no choice but to weigh in. Soompi, Dispatch, and Naver published cautious headlines, their language laced with careful ambiguity. Rumors of Lee Min-ho and Kim Go-eun's secret wedding sweep the internet, and agencies yet to comment on marriage allegations. Dispatch, famous for exposing celebrity couples with hard evidence, notably held back from releasing any bombshell photographs, which only added to the intrigue. For many fans, the silence was more incriminating than denial. If it wasn't true, one netizen posted, why wouldn't they shut it down immediately? That sentiment spread, building a narrative in which silence equaled confirmation. Agencies were quick to respond but not quick enough to quell the storm. Lee Min-ho's agency released a statement in the early afternoon, describing the reports as unfounded speculation and urging the public not to spread misinformation. Kim Go-eun's representatives echoed the denial, clarifying that the two were close colleagues but nothing more. Yet, in the realm of celebrity culture, denials are rarely enough. Fans dissected the wording, arguing that the language was too soft, too generic, lacking the vehement rejection that usually accompanies completely false rumors. For many, the agency's words did not close the case, they opened it further. Meanwhile, social media platforms became battlegrounds. Fans clashed in heated debates, some insisting the marriage was real, others mocking the gullibility of those who believed it. Edits of wedding invitations circulated. Doctored screenshots of congratulatory texts leaked by supposed insiders made their rounds. And fan fiction exploded into something more urgent and more frenzied. Every time a new piece of evidence emerged, like a photo of Go-eun wearing a ring on her left hand or Min-ho spotted at a high-end jewelry store, discussion flared anew. The line between reality and fantasy blurred until even seasoned followers of Korean entertainment couldn't distinguish one from the other. International media outlets was quick to capitalize on Hallyu headlines, joined the fray. In the Philippines, television anchors devoted entire segments to the rumor, speculating breathlessly on whether Asia's heartthrob had finally settled down. In Vietnam, fan cafes buzzed with live discussions, each micro detail as if it were a crime scene. In the United States, entertainment blogs framed it as the next great crossover story, wondering if the secret wedding might one day be confirmed in a Netflix documentary. The reach of the rumor underscored just how global Lee Min-ho and Kim Go-eun had become. Their alleged union wasn't just a Korean affair, it was a matter of international pop culture. The emotional response was no less dramatic. Fans who had followed Min-ho since his early 20s felt a bittersweet pang. They wanted to see him happy. The thought of him marrying meant relinquishing the fantasy of eternal availability. For Go-eun's fans, the rumor sparked protective instincts. They admired her craft and her dedication to privacy. The thought of her being dragged into relentless speculation felt like an invasion. Yet, for shippers, the legions of fans who had long prayed for their chemistry to spill off-screen, the rumor was the ultimate reward. The long-awaited culmination of years of dreaming. For them, the agency's denials were irrelevant. The story was already too beautiful to dismiss. As the day turned into night, one truth became clear: this was no longer just a rumor. It was a cultural event, a shared hallucination that reflected more about the hopes and fears of fans than the actual lives of the stars involved. Whether Min-ho and Go-eun had truly walked down the aisle was almost beside the point. What mattered was the story itself, the thrill of imagining, rush of debating, the unity of millions of strangers bound by a single tantalizing question. Running beneath it all was an unshakable sense of déjà vu. Korean entertainment has a long history of rumors spiraling into legends. But rarely had one spread so fast, so wide, and with such intensity. The photograph that had sparked it all may never be proven authentic, but its impact was undeniable. Within 24 hours, two actors had been transformed into mythic figures at the center of a wedding that might not even exist. And yet, fans could not let go. Cliffhanger hung heavy in the air. If this was all just smoke, then who had lit the fire? If it was real, why hide it? And if it was neither, if it was something in between, what did it say about the relationship between fans, media, and the celebrities they adore? Those questions swirled, unanswered, as the world braced for what part 2 of the saga would reveal. The rumor had already ignited like wildfire. Part 2 of this unfolding saga began when denials from the agencies collided with the insatiable hunger of fans and media outlets. It might have been a passing whisper transformed into an ongoing cultural spectacle, stretching beyond the borders of South Korea and into every corner of the global Hallyu fandom. It wasn't just a question of whether Lee Min-ho and Kim Go-eun had secretly married, it became a debate about love, illusion, celebrity, and the very nature of K-drama dreams. As the agency's statements circulated, their carefully crafted wording became fuel for deeper speculation. Lee Min-ho's representatives called the reports baseless speculation, while Kim Go-eun's team clarified that she and Min-ho were close colleagues. To the average reader, it might have seemed straightforward. Yet, for seasoned K-entertainment fans, the choice of words raised suspicion. Why not simply and firmly state, they are not married? Why rely on vague denials that left cracks wide enough for hope and doubt to slip through? Fans latched onto every syllable, dissecting the language as if it were a riddle hiding the truth. Social media platforms transformed into digital courtrooms. One side argued that the lack of a strong denial was effectively a soft confirmation. Others insisted that the rumor was nothing but smoke and mirrors, the byproduct of a blurry photo and overzealous imaginations. But both sides contributed to the frenzy, keeping hashtags alive and ensuring that Min-hoon wedding remained a trending topic for days. Fan-created evidence spread faster than official statements ever could. Screenshots of Go-eun's hand wearing what looked like a wedding band flooded timelines. Photos of Min-ho shopping at a luxury jewelry store resurfaced and were recontextualized as proof. Even unrelated Instagram captions were twisted into hidden messages, fueling the fantasy. Mainstream media, sensing the public's appetite, producing think pieces. Some praised the couple's undeniable chemistry on The King, Eternal Monarch, arguing that their on-screen romance had always felt too authentic to be just acting. Others criticized the frenzy, warning that the obsession crossed boundaries and infringed on the personal lives of the actors. Yet, regardless of the angle, every article amplified the conversation. Silence was no longer an option. The story had become too big, too international, too embedded in the cultural consciousness to fade quietly. Even Dispatch, notorious for exposing celebrity couples through clandestine photographs, remained conspicuously quiet. For many fans, that silence was deafening. Why hasn't Dispatch denied it? One fan forum post read. If it's false, wouldn't they be the first to publish proof? This line of reasoning gave the rumor new life, as though Dispatch's restraint itself was a confirmation. Intentional or not, the lack of an expose added a layer of intrigue that no denial could undo. As days turned into weeks, the rumor evolved from gossip into a kind of folklore. Fans created elaborate wedding fan videos, complete with clips of the two actors edited into ceremonies, receptions, and honeymoon montages. These creations spread rapidly, sometimes amassing millions of views. The line between fiction and reality blurred so completely that even casual observers struggled to remember whether the wedding had ever been officially confirmed or denied. The rumor became an alternate reality, parallel K-drama unfolding in real time. Yet beneath the noise, something more profound was happening. Frenzy surrounding Lee Min-ho and Kim Go-eun's supposed secret wedding reflected deeper cultural truths about fandom and romance. For many fans, the desire for the rumor to be true stemmed not from nosiness but from longing. They wanted closure for a story they had cherished since 2020. When The King, Eternal Monarch brought Min-ho and Go-eun together on screen, their chemistry had felt magical, an anchor during a time of global uncertainty and isolation. I believe that the actors had carried that love into real life was to affirm that fairy tales could exist outside the screen. At the same time, the rumor revealed a double-edged sort of celebrity culture. Stars are celebrated for embodying fantasies. Those fantasies can become prisons. Lee Min-ho, long branded the eternal Hallyu prince, faced endless scrutiny about when he would finally settle down. Kim Go-eun, admired for her range and privacy, found herself dragged into a narrative she had never volunteered for. The rumor, while entertaining for fans, spotlighted the pressure celebrities face to perform not only on camera but also in their personal lives. The weeks passed, industry insiders began weighing in. Anonymous sources suggested that the rumor may have originated from overzealous shippers, while others hinted that it had been deliberately planted as a publicity stunt. Perhaps, they speculated, the sudden resurgence of Min-ho and Go-eun's names together was linked to upcoming projects, new dramas, brand endorsements, global campaigns. After all, in the entertainment industry, rumors can be currency. Yet this theory, instead of dampening excitement, only added another layer of intrigue. If it were indeed a stunt, then it was working brilliantly, keeping both actors at the center of global attention. Meanwhile, fan communities fractured into factions. Some remained steadfast believers, pointing to evidence and interpreting silence as confirmation. Others grew protective, urging people to respect the actors' privacy and stop spreading unverified claims. But even those who opposed the rumor couldn't ignore its impact. The energized global conversations about K-dramas created new waves of fan content, even boosted viewership for The King, Eternal Monarch, which climbed back into Netflix's top 10 in several countries. For both Min-ho and Go-eun, the rumor became a double-edged sword. On one hand, It reaffirmed their unparalleled star power. Two actors could command such attention with nothing more than a whisper. On the other hand, it raised questions about how much control they truly had over their own narratives. No matter how many denials were issued, the public seemed determined to believe what it wanted. And what the public wanted was a love story worthy of the dramas that had made them legends. Cultural commentators began to frame the rumor as symbolic. Lee Min-ho represented the enduring power of Hallyu, a veteran actor whose career had spanned decades and defined an era. Kim Go-eun represented the evolution of Korean drama into deeper, more versatile storytelling, bridging art house credibility with mainstream success. Union, real or imagined, symbolized the marriage of old and new, tradition and reinvention, stability and experimentation. The rumor was more than gossip, it was myth-making, a collective act of storytelling by fans, media, and the industry itself. Months later, the frenzy showed no sign of dying. Even as new dramas premiered and other celebrity scandals emerged, the specter of the secret wedding lingered. Time Lee Min-ho appeared in public, reporters asked about his marital status. Every time Kim Go-eun posted a photo on Instagram, fans scanned it for clues. Their lives had become a puzzle, their silence an endless cliffhanger. The longer they left it unconfirmed, the more powerful the story became. In the end, perhaps the truth no longer mattered. Mattered was the story itself, the global reaction, the debates, the laughter, the tears, the hashtags. Whether Lee Min-ho and Kim Go-eun had actually exchanged vows in a secret ceremony was secondary. The rumor had already achieved something far greater. It had united millions of people across cultures and languages in a shared fantasy. It reminded everyone why they had fallen in love with K-dramas in the first place, not because they were real, but because they made reality feel magical. One fan posted on Twitter, summing up the collective sentiment, even if it's not true, it feels true. Sometimes, that's enough. And so the story lives on, suspended between denial and belief, fact and fiction. It will continue to resurface in whispers, in memes, in late-night conversations between fans who still dream of a day when the rumor becomes reality. Lee Min-ho and Kim Go-eun may never confirm or deny it fully, but in the hearts of millions, their secret wedding has already happened, and that, perhaps, is the greatest K-drama twist of all. The grand theater of K-entertainment. Stories often end with dramatic twists, shocking revelations, or unexpected farewells. Yet the tale of Lee Min-ho and Kim Go-eun's alleged secret wedding reminds us that sometimes, the greatest drama is the one we can't quite define. Was it truth disguised as rumor? Or rumor elevated into legend? Was it a love story whispered between two stars? Or a collective fantasy written by millions of fans hungry for their own happy ending? The ambiguity, the endless speculation, the way silence became louder than words, this is what turned the narrative into more than gossip. It became a cultural moment. Echo of the very K-dramas that shaped our imaginations. Look back, we may realize that the secret wedding was never just about Min-ho and Go-eun. It was about us, the fans, the industry, journalists, the dreamers. It was about how much we crave stories that reaffirm the possibility of love in an uncertain world. It was about the joy of believing, even for a fleeting moment, that our favorite on-screen couple might have carried their chemistry into real life. In that belief, fragile yet powerful, lies the heart of Hallyu itself, its ability to unite people across borders, cultures, languages through shared emotion. Whether the rumor fades tomorrow or resurfaces years later, its impact will remain. For Lee Min-ho, it reasserted his status as the unrivaled prince of Korean drama, a figure whose every move still commands global attention. For Kim Go-eun, it reminded the world of her enigmatic magnetism. She bridges artistry with accessibility, privacy with relatability. Together, their names will remain intertwined, not necessarily by marriage, but by myth, by story, by the wildfire that burned across the world in 2025. And to you, our readers, we owe the deepest gratitude. Thank you for joining us on this journey, for leaning into the thrill, for debating, laughing, and wondering alongside us. Without your passion, your curiosity, your willingness to dive headfirst into the rumor mill and emerge with hope still intact, none of this would matter. You are the heartbeat of the story, the reason why whispers turn into headlines and why headlines echo into history. Here at Red Carpet Revealed, we believe every story, true, false, somewhere in between, reveals something about who we are. And in this case, what was revealed was extraordinary, the unshakable bond between stars and fans. Between reality and imagination. Between the dream of love and the power of belief. So, whether Lee Min-ho and Kim Go-eun are truly newlyweds or simply two professionals bound by a drama that lives forever in our hearts, one thing is certain, they have already written themselves into history. And perhaps that is the greatest wedding of all, not one witnessed in a chapel or a villa, but one celebrated by millions. On screens big and small. Every corner of the world. Thank you for watching, for reading, for dreaming with us. Until the next revelation. Stay with Red Carpet Revealed, because in K Entertainment, the story never ends.